All right, today we are diving deep into a really unique crisis that's shaking up Taiwan's entire university system. It's a fascinating story about demographics, policy, and, you won't believe this, a cultural belief that pits two zodiac animals against each other. And the fate of hundreds of schools is literally hanging in the balance because of it. So let's start with a bit of a mystery. If you talk to a university president in Taiwan, the year 2028, that's the 117th academic year, is a date they are absolutely dreading. It's circled in red on every calendar. It's seen as this moment of reckoning, a demographic cliff that could change everything. The big question is, why that year? What is so special about 2028? Well, the answer isn't buried in some complex economic forecast. Nope. It's actually hiding in plain sight, right inside the Chinese zodiac. It's a tradition that has shaped how families plan for generations, and it's created this intense rivalry between two specific birth years. Okay, so to crack the mystery of 2028, we actually have to rewind the clock 18 years, all the way back to 2010. Why? Because that's the year the incoming university students of 2028 were born. And 2010, well, that was the year of the tiger. And that, as you're about to see, is the real root of this whole problem. You see, it all comes down to this incredibly powerful cultural preference. The dragon is a huge deal. It symbolizes success, power, good fortune, so much so that parents will literally plan their pregnancies to have a dragon baby. But the tiger? Well, that's seen as fierce, maybe a little too aggressive, even unruly. So just as parents aim for a dragon year, a lot of them actively tried to avoid a tiger year. And believe me, this isn't just some old folk tale. It has a massive, measurable impact on the population. Just look at these numbers. In the dragon year of 2000, births in Taiwan shot up to over 305,000. 12 years later, in the next dragon year, they were still way up there at 229,000. Now compare that to the most recent tiger year, 2022, when the number of births just plummeted to 135,000. It's wild. This zodiac effect creates these huge, predictable booms and busts. And this leads to a really fascinating question, the one that I keep coming back to. If you know that having a dragon baby means they're going to face way more competition for everything in life, getting into good schools, finding jobs, why would you actively choose to do that? Why create all these rivals for your own kid? What's the thinking here? It really seems to be a bet on what economists call human capital. And get this, the research actually backs it up to a point. One study found that people born in a dragon year do have a statistically higher chance of getting a university degree in Taiwan. So maybe parents are onto something. But here's the catch. That exact same study found it had no significant impact on how much money they made later in life. But here's where the story takes a modern twist. For the first time ever, it looks like the 2024 dragon year might actually have fewer births than the tiger year before it. Why the change? Well, the simple, crushing reality of economic pressure is finally starting to beat out this long-held tradition. It's just too expensive to raise a kid, no matter what their zodiac sign is. Now, this whole zodiac effect is a huge deal, but it's really just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. You could say it's like pouring gasoline on a fire that was already burning. And that fire was caused by two major trends moving in completely opposite directions. A massive boom in new universities and a steep decline in the number of babies being born. I mean, you can see the collision course right here on this timeline. Back in the 90s, birth rates were high, consistently over 300,000 a year. So the government launched a policy to open a ton of new universities. Made sense at the time, right? But here's the thing. Just as all these new schools were being built, the birth rate started to fall off a cliff. And the expansion was just staggering. At its absolute peak, Taiwan had over 160 universities and colleges. For an island with a population of about 23 million people, that's just an incredible number. The whole system was built for a baby boom that had already gone bust. So what happens when you have way more schools than students? Well, the inevitable result is what's happening right now, the Great University Shutdown. And this isn't some far-off prediction. This is today's reality. This right here is just a small sample of the schools that have recently had to shut their doors for good. I mean, in 2024 alone, multiple universities just stopped operating, leaving behind empty buildings and really uncertain futures for everyone involved.
And the human cost is immense. Right now, over 60 universities are on a crisis watch list. More than 6,000 teachers could be out of a job. You see students out there protesting, holding signs that say things like, "We demand to graduate from our original school." It's heartbreaking. And some of these abandoned campuses are literally turning into what the locals call feishu, ruins. It's a really stark visual of what's happening.
So in an environment like this, how do you survive? Well, you adapt. You fight. For the universities still standing, it's not just about academics anymore. It's about learning a whole new playbook to win over every single potential student.
Schools are now doing things they never did before. They're building dedicated PR teams, they're mastering SEO to show up first on Google, they're using hyper-targeted ads on social media, and they're trying to build relationships with kids while they're still in high school through summer camps. They're basically starting to act less like old-school institutions and more like tech startups fighting for market share.
Yeah, the game has totally changed. We're now seeing universities operate like modern businesses, using Google Analytics to track interest and even Facebook Messenger bots to chat with prospective students and their parents. The focus has completely shifted from academic tradition to a data-driven battle for a shrinking pool of customers. Okay, so everything we've talked about so far sounds pretty bleak, right? It sounds like a total disaster. But some educators are looking at this exact same situation and they're seeing something else entirely. They're seeing a once-in-a-generation opportunity for transformation. I mean, we're all conditioned to think that fewer students means failure. Shrinking enrollment is bad, right? But what if that's the wrong way to look at it? What if having fewer students could actually be a good thing for the quality of education? This whole new perspective is captured perfectly by Darren Murphy, a school principal in Honshu. He said, and I love this quote, "If we change the question from how to keep schools open to how to improve education quality with fewer students, then the thinking and action plans will be very different." And that's the silver lining in all of this. Fewer students means you get much better teacher-to-student ratios. That opens the door for truly personalized learning. It means teachers can actually discover and nurture a student's unique talents. It means deeper connections. And it lets educators get out from under the pressure of huge classes and remember why they got into teaching in the first place. And this isn't just a nice theory. That same principal, Darren Murphy, told this amazing story about a student who was the only one in his school interested in computer science. So you know what they did? Because they could. They built a custom program just for him. He found his passion, and today that kid works at Microsoft. That is the power of personalized education. So really, the challenge for Taiwan's universities isn't just about surviving this demographic storm. It's about using this moment to pivot. It's a chance to move away from a model of mass education and build a system that values quality over quantity. A system that provides a truly world-class, individualized experience for every student. So in the end, as all these universities are fighting for their very existence, maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Maybe it's not about which schools will manage to keep their doors open. The real question is, which ones will seize this crisis as a chance to completely reinvent themselves for the better? Because the ones that do, they won't just survive. They'll be the ones that define the future of education.